ago on Water Street at the Nopi Gallery. And the event here is based on that idea of the headliner, followed by the open mic. So those were a lot of wonderful evenings spent at the speakeasy. We're so grateful that Patricia and Jack put so much work into that to make that happen. So I am so excited to welcome Patricia Martin. Do you need any water, or you've got your bottle?
I got my bottle. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure and honor, and I'm so glad that you guys are carrying the creative energy forward and giving people to share in this beautiful environment here. I grew up in Darien. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I grew up in Darien, so I like to say, I don't have a deep bone in my body. I don't have any funk. But the Beat Poetry, the National and International Beat Poetry Foundation has expanded they're more inclusive than having to be a Jack Kerouac or an Allen Ginsberg, and who can anyway. So it's really has to do with people who have authentic voices. And they have Beat Poet Laureates all over the country and also in different countries. And I was like, you could have knocked me over when they emailed me and said I was they honored me by being the Poet Laureate of Connecticut. So I'm going to try to do it proud. I'm going to try to do them proud. And I'll do some sharing tonight. We'll take you all on the trip. And we'll have little themes, and we'll end with something that I will have a partner in crime sharing their voices with me. Because I'm really happy to be here. I chose March when you gave me the opportunity. I chose March because it's National Women's Month. So I thought it would be good to start with some female-oriented perspectives here. This piece, I read this once before. You were glad I did, Eric. Because your son and daughter were here, both of them, right? Or your son was anyway. And so I wrote this piece. I was invited to participate in this international initiative called Hair in the Wind. It was organized by a woman who is an artist and a poet. She's French, but she lives in Italy, and she has ginormous sculpture that looks like strands of crazy long, ropey hair. And she started this as an initiative to bring attention to and in support of women who have been abused for being women, especially that young lady whose lock of hair escaped from her hijab and she was killed. And that's not an abnormality, unfortunately. So she started the Hair in the Wind project in solidarity and support, and to bring attention to some of the atrocities everywhere, starting with that one. And it was called Hair in the Wind. So I was and then they've been performing it all over, but if you're not there, which I wish I was, you submitted a video of your piece. So this is the piece that I wrote, and she actually included it in a video of some of the works. It's called Women Dance Away. Traveling alone from the old country, her hair blowing in the ocean wind, the grandmother I loved caught the eye of her future abusive husband. When I became of age, she crooked a finger at me, speaking in broken English. Men are no good. Men are beasts. You stay away from men. A few years later, I understood the burden of being a woman. With beauty that attracts and taunts, we are your beloved angels. We are the devils you despise. We are the ones you long to possess, the ones you loathe. Eluding your lust, you blame us for inflaming your desire, punishing us with the untamed atrocities of masculinity. You shroud us to diminish our flame, yet you cannot. We will go barefoot, shake our hair loose as we dance away, dance away, dance away, as we always have, as we always will, and so I take my grandmother's hand. And it's important to shine a light on that, but I just feel like I have to say I do love Meg. I'm not a bachelor. Here's one I wrote. There was a photo in the Washington Post of a train station in Poland, just over the Ukraine border, where the Polish women had collected a whole bunch of strollers and lined them up with baby supplies so that the refugees coming over from the Ukraine with their babies and their children would have some supplies once they arrived. And it was in black and white, and it was just a platform of the train station. The train station just lined up with these strollers. So I wanted to honor Ukraine mothers and all mothers, just what this is called. Raw instinct, naturally fierce, stroking the soft, sweet cheek of their child, cloaking them from wind and rain, dodging bullets and bombs. Mothers would fearlessly confront a pouncing tiger, throw themselves in front of an attacking tank, shield their newborn when havoc and mayhem are shrieking all around them, hunkering in makeshift bunkers, taking the brunt, facing the horror of it all to protect the precious new life that softly, slowly grew inside them, flourished in the warm ocean of their womb, forever attached, breathing as one, yet separate as the flailing arms and kicks to the belly that yearned for, fought for, demanded the ultimate freedom of gulping air. For birth is a force of nature. Life is insistent and will not be denied, even in the face of war and a mother's tear-stained face. This poem is called Secret's Way, and it's about how putting things in the light and sharing them helps to diffuse any trauma, the shadow. Secrets exist, hidden with sly smiles, a pact, sealed with a kiss. But there are terrible secrets hanging in the air, secrets that weigh, dark moments not brought to the light of day. Gulped down and putrefied, a swallowed secret makes the victim gag, the burden of silence worn like a mighty yoke, hurting the heart that bears it, extinguishing a fragment of soul. But make no mistake, women talk in hushed and huddled whispers, and one day the complicit solidarity wrenches the chest open once more. And this is what lessens the load of a secret that weighs. spring, so I'm going to read some spring and nature-related stuff. Because don't you love spring?
Yes.
Oops. Ladies of the garden. Peonies in spring, bedecked with heavy-headed blossoms, ripe, sweet-smelling beauty, encumbered by weighty layers of ruffled petticoats, like ladies bowing to partners during the dance of courtship. Sunflowers in fall, thin shoulders stooped by heavy-headed thoughts, arms curled sorrowfully around empty stalks, bowing in deference to the pain of loss, mournfully aligned to pay their respects. Standing solo, impossibly lush dahlia, strong, audacious beauty, she revels in the waning warmth of the early autumn sun, patient and content with her place in nature, unfolding at her own pace, sharing her elegant grace. Flowers always little people for me. I put that out on their personalities. Daisies are so cheerful, don't you just love it? Here's a tribute to spring. Impossible spring. Impossibly green, the only way to describe early spring. That one day when everything suddenly comes to life in the natural world, regardless of what is happening in the unnatural world. Regardless of wars, or men tromping on other men, or men tromping on the environment, or another mass shooting, or more political doublespeak, or another self-serving political maneuver, or corporate swindle, or racial slur, or when no one admits the emperor has no clothes. But the green, oh, that green, that impossible, blinding green, so fresh, so brash, so unrelenting. Its scent so sublime, nature forging ahead, unstoppable, unfolding life, beyond reason, impossible, promising green, the fleeting color of hope, one day, one fine spring day at a time. This is my poetry collection, and then as I can sing, I'm going to read one of the songs in here. Songs. I wish I could sing. One of the poems in here called "The Farmer's Market Life." Kind of a fantasy walk. The farmer's market life. It's now the brilliant season, and so I imagine living a farmer's market kind of life, one which so often eludes me. Eyeing the perfection of my new woven French market basket, found for a song at the thrift shop, I imagine drifting gracefully from booth to booth, hand-picking perfect produce for my evening table, filling my basket beyond full. I step outside and cut a bundle of peonies this late sunny June day, trying to decide between the white, pink, and burgundy. Heavy-headed they are, like ladies wearing frilly petticoats, I decadently gather some of each to arrange in the squat green metal vase. They look so lush and abundant, I go out and pick even more to nestle among my austere bamboo stalks. Stepping back, I feel satisfied at last. The heady scent filling my cottage. Shutting out the world, I need to shut out the world, and I am thinking this is the way to do it. Itchy for more sunshine, I drive to the new sacred garden site after the party is over, to meander in solitude along the stone paths, among the mixed annual gardens, as the Zen rock waterfall babbles soothingly, minding its own business, not questioning my motives or asking anything of me. Turning into a different maze, I face the labyrinth, intricate with stone and brick circular paths. Some patterns seem vaguely Moroccan. Others like man-made best attempts at industrialized nature in shades of slate and faded terracotta. Stepping deliberately, slowing my pace, slowing my breath, I know I cannot hurry to the center that awaits me with the simple stone bench. It's about the trip, not the destination, as they say. Listening to the chattering sunset birds, moving one step at a time, sequestered from the chaos of the outside world, cloistered from the hubbub, the exhausting, useless energy. I find that prayer wells up easily, like another song chorus I did not know I could sing on this most brilliant day. These paintings are like my favorite power. So I'm going to read the title poem, In Venice I Could Sing. Which I actually literally wrote while watching the movie Summertime, starring Katharine Hepburn, that classic movie. I was watching it and I'd scribble, watching it and I'd scribble more and scribble more, and then I had something to work with. In Venice I could sing. I really think I could sing if I went to Venice. Sing from my heart amidst the lush colors of exotic landscape, imagining entanglements with ripe embracing hymns, wanton exploration of needless need, celebrating sensual pleasure. I just know I could sing. How could you not? I wish I was there as in summertime with Katharine Hepburn, braving foreign territory, embracing adventure, skirting the intimacy I desire, hiding behind the camera lens I carry with me everywhere, hiding but watching, waiting to be unveiled, wanting to be wanted, waiting to unveil. Yes, singing could come easily, as naturally as breathing. That's how singing starts, you know, among the bright colors of erotic longings, while pushing the boundaries of known existence, and floating, floating, floating among ancient ruins and timeless landscapes. Wrought iron, begonia, variegated colors, colorful cafe umbrellas, tobacco, heady liqueurs, beguiling statues and mirrored gargoyles, lush and ripe with passion, alive with the promises of pleasure. I know I can sing. I am singing. And now I'm going to read poems, turning experience into expression. 10 years ago, I had an episode of Takatsubo, which is Japanese for lobster trap. Lobster traps have lots of chambers like the heart, and it's actually stress-induced cardiomyopathy. Not a heart attack, but affects the heart. It's also known as broken heart syndrome. And when Carrie Fisher died, and they said that Doris Day, right, died of a broken heart right after, I'm quite certain it must have been Takatsubo. So, and then I had it again in November. So I had series 1 of Takatsubo of the experience, and then a couple more. The first one's called How Do I Trust the Heart Again? How do I trust the heart again? It has turned on me in a most unexpected way. One that has sent me strapped into an ambulance to a place with curtains and machines and needles. A place with men and women wearing white coats, carrying clipboards, wheeling computers, using strange apparatuses. A place of beeps and charts and graphs. A place of no sleep, where I hear the squish, squish, squishing sound of liquid life coursing through my body as I watch the jagged green pattern dancing across the monitor, wondering what the steps mean. How do I trust my heart again when there was no warning and the pain wasn't so awful, but an urgency imposed, me with no preparation, not even a toothbrush, stripped and wearing the standard, barely modest garb. Such an ugly and odd uniform, really. But there I am, all wired up, right smack dab in the middle of the hustle and bustle, commenting that drugs can be your friend. As I am wheeled off for a procedure I cannot even begin to wrap my head around before dawn has broken. And just in case they need access, they have shaved my private sacred mound. The slice of hair and hairlessness perfectly symmetrical, like yin and yang without the yang. And I notice it resembles one of those bakery black and white cookies, which amuses me, but not really. After much testing and retesting, after my heart has faded to 35% working order, they tell me that I am not in a risk category, that I do not fit a profile, and that I am experiencing, in a word, Takatsubo, which means octopus trap in Japanese, and is a condition also known as broken heart syndrome, a condition that women experience due to stress. I understand. I know about broken hearts. I know about relationships that disappoint and prove to be unworthy. I have paid the emotional price more times than I care to remember. So after all this, how do I trust the heart again? Dare I trust my heart again? I thought not until I experienced Takatsubo, and a man stepped forward, awakening love, opening my heart so I could move on. Thank you. One more heart poem, and then I'll do the wrap up with my co-conspirator over there, my husband Jack Sheedy. This is after the second and last Takatsubo experience. It's called Last Rose. I saw the last rose of summer still flourishing in Vermont, bright, alive, vital, even in late October. Defiant beauty, brilliant ruby rose, petals perfect, swaying, standing strong in that bitter autumn wind, showing me, telling me I could do this too. My heart the same shade of living red, my spirit the same vibrancy, showing me that I am a survivor too, that my heart will grow strong again. And so I hold the rose dear in my memory, close to my heart. And this is a two-part poem. You can come on up. Don't be afraid, Mr. Sheedy. Here we go. Oh, shoot, here it is. I was asked to participate in an Armistice Day event in Woodstock. And I really didn't have anything appropriate to read. I'm not a super political writer or anything. So I'm like, what the heck am I going to present? So for some reason, I started reading letters home from soldiers to their families and wives and loved ones from wars that spanned the revolutionary times to fairly current times, like 4 years ago. And I call it Blood and Ink. Soldiers' letters home from war. Dear folks, Mommy and Dad, Pa, dearest mother, beloved wife, sweetheart mine, my precious, I am still in the land of the living. All the gang are writing post-mortem letters and kind of half ashamed of themselves for doing it.
It is a strange feeling for me, but a very real one, that every letter I write home to you may be the last that I shall write, or you read.
I don't know why I'm writing this. I really hope that this letter never gets to you, because if it does, that means I am dead.
I write, for you will be sure to hear, that I was killed in the fight last Sunday, for it was reported that I was, but I write this with my own hand to testify that I am yet in the land of the living.
It is pretty hard to check out this way without a fighting chance, but we can't live forever. I'm not afraid to die. I just hate the thought of not seeing you again.
I do not want you to think I am depressed. Indeed, on the contrary, I am very cheerful. But out here in odd moments, the realization comes to me of how close death is to us.
It seems like a dream more than anything else. They have been teaching us bayonet fighting. It makes your arms ache when you lunge at an imaginary enemy, the rifle at arm's length. With this hard training, they will either make a man of me or kill me. You ought to see me in my shrapnel helmet and gas mask. It would make you laugh.
Here I am, 20 years old now. I'm a man now, not a teenager anymore.
I recently saw some of the dead boys they had taken off the battlefield. If some of the men back home, whom a personal ambition attempt to prolong the war, could see them, I'm sure this war would end soon.
When you look at them, you can't help but think, why are they dead? I hope these men have not given their lives for empty words.
You know how they say war is not like the movies show it? Well, they're wrong. It's exactly like the movies.
Such a storm of balls I never conceived possible for men to live through. Shot and shell, shrieking and crashing, canister and bullets whistling, hissing, most fiend-like through the air, until you could almost see them.
Oh Lord, if ever a fellow was afraid, absolutely frightened to death, it was this child.
A rattle of musketry, at first like pattering drops upon a roof, then a roll, crash, roar, and rush like a mighty ocean billow upon the shore, chafing the pebbles, wave on wave, with deep and heavy explosions, like the crashing of the thunderbolts.
How close death is to us. Soldiers love a general that loves and tries not to lose them. I shall never forget that battle. My company suffered most. There are only 4 of us left out of 100. I consider myself lucky, getting off with wounds.
Today is probably the worst day I have ever lived in my entire short life. My best friend in this shithole was killed. He was only 22 years old. I feel that if I was only half a second sooner in pulling the trigger, he would still be alive. Strange how short a time half a second is, the difference between life and death.
All the bodies had disappeared into the water. There was nothing left but blood and an empty raft. Swarms of sharks were everywhere. The sharks ate well today. Later, darkness descended, and the rains came.
The third shell struck and killed my horse, bursting, blew him to pieces, knocked me down, and tore off my right arm.
One may get used to rifle bullets, and does, but you can never get used to the shells. They make such an awful noise.
The truth is, when bullets are whacking against tree trunks and solid shot are cracking skulls like eggshells, the consuming passion in the breast of the average man is to get out of the way.
In less than 1 minute, a relatively peaceful day went straight to hell. After you've been here only as short a time as I have, your ideas change.
If there is a place called hell, this surely must be it. We must be the devil's disciples doing all his dirty work.
I keep asking myself, if there is a God, then how the hell come young men with so much to live for have to die?
Perhaps you would like to know the spirit of the men out here now. The truth is, every man is fed up, almost past bearing. Not a single one has an ounce of what we call patriotism left in him.
All that every man desires now is to get done with it and go home. The greatest hope of a great majority is that rioting and revolt at home will force the government to pack it in on any terms.
No big thing, but I finally got to take a shower after a week. Boy, did I stink. The dirt must have been a 1/4 inch thick.
I have flown 1,500 hours now, and in those hours I could tell you a lifetime story. Today I am 21, far away but coming home older. I dream of her hand touching mine, telling me to come home. But I wake up and it's some sergeant telling me I have to fly.
He got his death wound when fighting desperately side by side with me in the wildest hand grenade and machine gun fight man could live or die in. I am said to have absolutely no nerves. I saw over 100 of our men blown to fragments by a big shell about 200 yards from where I was lying. It's turned midnight, and I think I will sleep now.
If we never meet on this earth, I hope we will meet in heaven, where partings will be no more.
When this reaches you, for me there will be no more war, only eternal peace waiting for you.
Au revoir, my own sweetheart. God will keep you safe till the storms are over. I really did love you with all I had. You were everything to me. I won't live till morning, so goodbye, my friends. May God be with you all. Goodbye. God bless my poor soul. It seems like a dream more than anything else. Those were actual excerpts. So I'm going to end on a little happier note. Thank you, Jack. I have a poem, very short ditty, that is really visual, but I can explain it carefully. It's only 4 lines. It's called Hymn. Love him, H-I-M. Love her, H-E-R. Love him, H-Y-M-N. Love her. Thank you. Thank you for your graciousness and time, and thank you for hosting me. I appreciate it.